Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well and who taught us truth. Today's lesson is going to be going into what you see on the screen at the moment. Have the courage to be disliked. I seen this today, and decided to, Lord willing, go into a lesson on it. And so yeah, you gotta have the courage to be disliked. Have the courage to not go with the flow. Be the light in the midst of darkness. Not worrying about what other people think. Not worrying about what other people say. Persecutions, trials, tribulations. People mocking you, making fun of you. And you gotta have the courage to stand bold, to stand firm, to stand stiffly for the name of the Lord. Even in the face of persecutions, even in the face of death. You can't let nothing separate you from the love of Hamashiach. Matter of fact, let's start off with that real quick. What is that? Romans 8. You can't allow anything to separate you from the Most High, even when people dislike you, because when you come into this truth, you lose, quote unquote, friends of the world, family members, you become disliked. People start to look at you funny. People start to look at you differently. And you can't allow that to steer you away from the love of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Romans 8 and verse 35. We'll get in the KJV. Who shall separate us from the love of Mashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or the sword? So yeah. So let's get that word persecution real quick. Persecution says it really don't give us much. Let's see what Google has to say. Persecution. Hostility and ill treatment, especially on the basis of ethnicity, religion, yada, yada. And right here it says persistent annoyance or harassment. So hostility and ill treatment, that's being disliked. If you're being persecuted, you're being disliked. They don't like you. When somebody mocks you, they don't like you, man. Let's see if it says anything else. See some synonyms: oppression, maltreatment, ill treatment, abuse, punishment, torment, torture, harassment, bullying. So if they're bullying you, they don't like you. They dislike you. Teasing you. Yeah. So let's real quick get that word for see what dislike means. Definition of dislike. Feel distaste or hostility toward. And did we not just get real quick again one of the meaning of persecution, hostility and ill treatment. So dislike means to feel a distaste for or hostility toward. So, and that's exactly what Yahweh said would happen. You will be persecuted. You will go through trials, tribulations, people coming up against you, people mocking you, laughing at you, making fun of you. So you're going to go through these things, man. But you got to have the courage to stand bold even in the face of persecution. And what did Apostle Paul say again? Are you going to allow persecution? Are you going to allow hostility? Are you going to allow the people who dislike you separate you from the love of Hamashiach? Again, verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. So no, we're not going to allow these things to separate us. We're not going to allow the unfaithfulness of other people, the incredulity of people separate us from the love of Mashiach, from being saved, from being saved from the coming destruction. No, we are conquerors. We are overcomers. We are confident. We are, what was it again? We have the courage to stand bold even in the face of afflictions. Now let's get that word conquerors real quick, because it said what? Nay, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us through. So through Yahweh Shai, we conquer. Let's say real quick, Philippians 4:13, a beloved scripture. Philippians 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Hamashiach, which strengthen me. So Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashim Yashai gives us the strength to conquer these things, to have the confidence and the courage to stand boldly in the face of these, persecutions and trials and tribulations and adversities. So we're going to get that the conquerors real quick. Romans 8 and verse 37. Conquerors. We are more than conquerors. To be, H 52:45, to be more than a conqueror, to gain a surpassing victory. So no, we're not going to allow the people who dislike us, who come up against us, to be victorious over us. But no, we're going to be victorious over them. Verse 38, for I am persuaded. Well, real quick in the NLT, verse 37. No, despite all these things, overwhelming victory is ours through Hamashiach who loved us. So you got to stand bold to get that overwhelming victory and not allow the things that people say, the things that people do, the things that people are going to say, sway you away from this truth, from the love of Hamashiach. Verse 38, back in the KJV, for I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of the Most High, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua our Lord. So nothing that is here or to come is going to be able to separate us from the love of Hamashiach, from the love of the Most High. And you can't allow these things to persuade you away from the truth, to steer you away from Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. You got to have the courage to stand bold in the face of affliction, because that's what Ezra saw. He saw them who stood boldly for the name of the Lord. 2 Ezra 2, we're just going to get straight to the point. 2 Ezra 2 and verse 47, so he answered and said unto me, it is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. So even in the face of adversities, persecutions, Ezra saw them who stood stiffly, who had the courage to stand boldly, no matter what was going on in their own lives. No matter what was going on, they stood stiffly and confidently for Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And that's what we got to do. Speaking to myself first and foremost. This is what we got to do. We can't let anything steer us away from the truth, because we know what is going to happen to those which believe not. I'm going to get this real quick in 2 Ezra 15. 2 Ezra 15 and verse 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So you're going to get spoke against. You're going to have people who say things about you who aren't going to agree with you. So in that case, they say, quote unquote, mean things. They may make fun of you, mock you, leave you. You're going to have women who don't like that, and they're going to leave. But it says to not let them not let them trouble you. So don't worry about it, because definition of incredulity, the state of being unwilling or unable to believe something. They're unable to believe this, so don't let it trouble you, because what is going to happen to them? Verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So they're going to perish. Don't let these things lead to your own downfall. Speaking to myself, you gotta have the courage to stand bold, even in the face of persecutions, because Yahweh Shai was persecuted. The Son of Man, the Son of the Most High, was persecuted. How much more so us? The definition of courage. The ability to do something that frightens one. Strength in the face of pain or grief. So you got to have the strength even in the face of these things to continue to push forward. Bravery, brave. You got to have backbone. You got to have mettle. You got to have resolution. You got to have a resolve. Firm determination to do something. You got to have fortitude. Grit. Spirit. Fearlessness. You can't allow these things to steer you away. Again, Yahweh Shai went through it. How much more so us? We're going to go through it. Let's get that real quick. John 15 and verse 20. John 15 and 20, this is Yahweh Shai speaking. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So they persecuted Yahweh Shai. There was hostility and ill treatment against Yahweh Shai. There was people who disliked Yahweh Shai. And they came up against him. They mocked him. They threw him on the cross. They would rather have Barabbas be let free than Yahweh Shai, man. They said, let his blood be upon us and our children. That is dislike at its maximum. That is hostility at its max, man. So how much more so us? We got to go through this. What is it saying? Acts 14 and 22, man. Acts 14 and 22. That's 9 and 22. Acts 14 and verse 22. And it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. And that we must, not might, not a possibility, but that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So we're going to go through tribulations. People's going to mock you. It says what? A man's foes. Man's foes. Slakia. See if this pulls up. And then watch this. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe it's the other way around. Slakia. Matthew 10. Damn, what the hell? Matthew 10 and verse 36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. So you're going to even have family members who dislike you, who hate you, who come up against you, who persecute you. You got to stand boldly, even in the face of your mother not liking you, your father not liking you, your siblings not liking you, your children not liking you, your wife, your woman, your friends not liking you. You got to stand boldly, man. No matter what. Verse in the NLT, your enemies will be right in your own household. A dislike, but you got to have the courage to face it. You got to have the courage and the strength to face it, even in the face of pain, grief, persecution. Because what? Yahweh Shai went through it. So again, how much more so us? Back in John real quick. John 15, verse 20. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So Yahweh Shai was persecuted. We're going to be persecuted. But don't worry, man. You got to have the courage to fight it, because at the end, you're going to be saved. You're going to be redeemed. You're going to be protected from the evil times ahead. While everybody else is what? Dying in the unfaithfulness. Matthew 24. We're going to go through these things. What does it say, Matthew 24:13? But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Matthew 24:9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. We're going to go through this, man. We're going to be, in the NLT, verse 9, it says, then you will be arrested, persecuted, and killed. You will be hated all over the world because you are my followers. So we're going to be hated. We're going to be disliked. But you got to have the courage to stand boldly, even in the face of it, and not allow this persecutions to separate you from Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. Because jumping down to verse 13 again, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So if you have the courage to stand boldly in the face of these afflictions, in the face of these persecutions, in the face of the tribulation that is to come, and you endure everything, and you have a backbone, you have a spirit, you have what? You have a resolve, a resolution, a fortitude, a grit, then you will be saved from the time that is to come. This is what we got to do. We want to be saved. I want to be saved. You want to be saved. You want to be watching this video, man. We want to be saved from the times that it's coming, especially if you got this far. We are at the end. There is no reason to lose courage. There is no reason to lose fortitude. There is no reason to lose. We want an overwhelming victory, man. Again, speaking to myself first and foremost, so we got to continue to push forward until the very end and have the courage to stand boldly so that we can receive that crown at the end. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the spirit, to the body, and to the fold. And before I ended off, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Chakwadash, and double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Shalom.